host for MotorWeek, John Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to MotorWeek. We're glad to have you with us. Carroll Shelby and Ford Mustang, two names that together have defined American muscle cars for an amazing 45 years. And this is their latest effort, the Shelby GT500. With fresh hardware from Ford and fresh inspiration from Shelby, it's once again poised to conquer just about anything covered with asphalt. So let's get to it. The story of the Ford Shelby GT500 begins in 1967 with a menacing double dose of power and style. 4 decades later, in 2007, Carroll Shelby's masterpiece was reborn in 21st century fashion. And for 2010, the Ford-Shelby partnership grows stronger as the latest GT500 is meaner than ever. Pumping this stallion's heart blood is the SVT limited edition GT500 KR's 5.4-liter supercharged V8. Horsepower is up 40 to 540 and torque is up 30 to 510 pound-feet over the previous model. Peak output comes from an intercooled Roots-type supercharger, now with 9 pounds of added boost. Sending heaps of power to a shortened 355 limited slip rear diff is a re-geared 6-speed manual with its iconic cue ball shifter. Down the long front stretch of Savannah's Roebling Road Raceway, our Mustang roared to 60 in 4.5 seconds and swallowed up the quarter mile in 12.9 seconds at 112 miles per hour. The GT500's fat power band delivers full tilt power all the way. The exhaust growl combined with the supercharger whine doesn't just sound scary, it's flat out nightmarish. New SVT suspension tuning was aimed at improving the car's dynamics. Also to help, new Goodyear F1 supercar tires on special alloy wheels, 19 inches on the coupe, 18s on the convertible. Stability control is newly standard too, with normal and sport modes, but can also be turned off. But even with enhancements, the GT500's full throttle handling remains generally mediocre, especially compared to the Corvettes and Porsches of the world. In Roebling's tight turns, it comes off big and lumbering. With a minimum 3,900-pound curb weight and relatively soft springs, we were surprised by so much front push and body roll. But back off a bit, say to about 80% max power, and everything changes. Now the GT500 maneuvers beautifully. Turn-ins are crisp and steering is very responsive. The GT500's power lets you blast out of corners, and the rear can easily be coaxed out by throttle with the ESP off. Also, the shifter works great on the track. Its pattern is tight and just right. And the pedal setup is perfect for heel and toe driving. So it's only when you push this pony car towards its limits that it scares you off. But that disappointment in a track test makes it one secure high-performance car for the street. Indeed, the GT500 is the ideal back-road entertainer. And when the pavement gets rough, it won't shake your feelings loose like most track stars. In terms of reeling it all in, the GT500's 4-wheel disc ABS setup uses Brembo 4-piston calipers up front. Stops were stable and averaged 130 feet, which is okay, but we expected better. Now on to the aggressive cosmetics, always a big part of a Shelby-named effort. Most obvious are the signature twin racing stripes, now newly available on the drop-top version. For a meaner front end, the hood and front fascia now shroud the waffled grille and lower air intake. The coiled Cobra is still there, but new is the front splitter and optional auto headlights. Follow the sharp but broken shoulder line back to a new lower drag gurney flap rear spoiler and dual 4-inch stainless exhaust tips. Inside, the familiar 4-seat twin cockpit Mustang cabin is more refined than ever. This classic interior now displays far better materials and craftsmanship. The instrument panel features real aluminum to highlight the SVT-style gauge cluster. Sport seats are leather with embroidered snakes and new Alcantara racing stripe inserts that mimic those on the exterior. The beefy 3-spoke steering wheel wears a hissing snake as well. New technology for the GT500 includes Ford Sync with 911 assist, as well as an SOS post-crash alert system. And the standard shaker stereo with CD changer provides high-octane tunes to accompany all this serious performance driving. Being a Mustang, the GT500 does have rear seats, but they're way too tight for pretty much any adult to be comfortable. But here's a surprise. Government fuel economy ratings are 14 city, 22 highway. So even with more power, the highway rating is 10% greener than last year. As to how much green you need to lay down, the Shelby GT500 starts at $48,575 for the coupe and $53,575 for the convertible, which includes a $1,000 gas guzzler tax. That's more than a base Corvette, but way less than a 911 or a Viper. It's fast, it's mean, and it's historic. The 2010 Shelby GT500 is modern Detroit muscle in its purest form. On the track, we admit it doesn't feel quite at home. But anywhere else, everywhere else, this classic beast rules the road.